So first things first, I showed you a few of the exercises that I'm going to be doing today, some chest back, bis and tris, and I thought I'd show you a little bit about some of the techniques that I use in order to get the muscles functioning properly. Okay, so this is my friend here, Tony. He's got a little bit of lower back pain, so he asked me to work on his back a bit, and you notice that I'm working on the mid back and the upper back first, and on both sides. So even if the pain is on the right side, the left side will also cause problems on the right side, you know. So a lot of times when people have pain, they just work on that area, and sometimes if you go to massage therapists that are new or they don't quite have a good grasp of how the body works yet, you know, maybe they're not advanced or maybe they're beginners in this whole thing, they'll just work on the area that you have a problem in, but they won't actually move to the other areas that will be causing a compensation sort of problem in the muscles, right? So just so you know, if you have knots in the neck, it can affect the lower back, it can affect your hips even, because you can get a series of knots and muscle problems all the way down, and then it will cause your hips to be out or of alignment or whatever. So there are so many times in my bodybuilding career where I had a knot or a trigger point in my upper back, or my trap or my rhomboid, and it was actually causing lower back pain, okay? So right now I'm working on the piriformis muscle, which is the skating muscle. It's the muscle that actually is in the glute, okay? And it helps you push the leg outwards. So that also, you know, like I said, you get the idea what I'm talking about. Every trigger point moves itself all the way down, so it's important for you to hit all the trigger points if you want to heal an overall problem. It's about looking at injuries from more of a holistical standpoint, and once those trigger points are undone, what happens is there'll be more blood flow, and then a healing process can start to take place. So this is something I apply in my own training. I do this method on myself all the time, and I just did a warm-up on bench with 225 here, and you can see this is one thing I don't like about the benches in Champion, especially on this side of the room anyway. There's some unevenness on the floor, so you have to put some newspaper underneath the rack to make sure that the bench isn't wobbling back and forth, because it's kind of dangerous, especially if you start working into real weight and all of a sudden the rack is going back and forth and you're unstable on the bench when you're not ready for it, and that could cause an injury. So I fixed that pretty quick with some newspaper, and there we go. Here, we're all stable now. The only thing is I don't like about that is that sometimes you're even, sometimes you're not. I don't exactly have a level on me, you know, to measure whether the bench is flat or not. So I sometimes like to use the other bench, but I like the lighting on that side of the room, so sometimes I'll do benches there just for that reason. I enjoy the sunshine. So from there I went to some back exercises, and I just wanted to do something without the lower back, like I've shown you a number of times, and I just went to bench rows with the dumbbells. And I'm not worried about using heavy weight. I just want to use a medium weight, and what I find with this is that I hit some of the lats, but I hit a lot of upper back and also rear delt with this exercise, so it really helps complete the overall back development in the upper back. So the great thing is that in this, your upper back will fail and your rear delts will fail. They'll hit failure first, and your lower back will not be the limiting factor in the set, okay? So whenever you want something to adapt, you want to make sure that that very thing or that muscle is the limiting factor in the set. When you concentrate on that, that is basically the premise of getting a muscle to adapt. So for instance, say I'm doing bent over rows, but my lower back or my grip is giving out first before my lats do. Well, guess what? The grip and the lower back are getting more of the workout, and they will be forced to adapt more than, say, the lats, okay? So it's just a general premise you can apply to all exercises. So really ask yourself when you do an exercise, what is actually causing you to quit the set? What muscle is hitting failure? That's the muscle that you're actually training. It isn't the muscle that you might intend to train, but that's the muscle that's hitting failure, okay? So I went from there and I went and did some biceps. And this is about 4 or 5 sets, okay? So I'm basically only showing you 1 or 2 sets of each exercise just for time purposes and just to kind of give you the lowdown of what's going on in Natural Gallant Bodybuilding's life here. So, but anyway, yeah, there's just some bicep curls. I like to keep this constant tension on these biceps, and then at the end, when I start to fatigue, then I'll rest and then continue the set, okay? But the whole premise is to hit that absolute failure on the bicep brachii, okay? Not the brachialis, okay? The brachii, the actual muscle belly. And then I rarely do this exercise. I only do this once in a while, and I prefer to use lightweight with this exercise. And what I mean by lightweight is something that I can do 20 to 30 reps with, maybe 35 reps in some cases, because it is a lot harder on the elbows, because as you notice, the dumbbell is coming straight down and the elbow is pointing right to the ceiling, and because your elbow is above your head, it's a lot harder on the elbow tendon. And I never have trouble with my elbows, but when I was doing this exercise, 15 years ago, and I was doing the 120-pound dumbbells and stuff, it was causing some problem with the elbows. So I learned the hard way that this is not an exercise that's good for heavy. So although all exercises can be good, some of them are just not meant for 5-rep sets. And I've seen a lot of guys mess their elbows up with this type of exercise and going too heavy. So I hope you enjoyed my little workout there, and thanks for watching, and make sure you share my stuff if you like it, and I'll talk to you soon.